away in October. October 30th, my dad passed away. And thank you. And he was my best friend. People ask me often, why are you in the personal development, change your life space? Because of my dad. One, he got me the job at McKinley. But two, I watched a man completely change his life. The first 45 years of my dad's life, he was an alcoholic, not around a lot, I've told you all that. The second half of his life, he's the best man I've ever met in my life. The interesting thing about it is that good man, that great man was always in there. That great woman is in you. That great man is in you. She's always been there. You have the DNA of the King of Kings running through your blood right now. You're capable of anything you want in your life. And it's running through you. Even if you don't believe that, it's okay. It's still running through you. But there's greatness in you. There's literal greatness in you. My father completely changed his life. And my father was not a wealthy man, was not someone who had a lot of money, but he was a very rich man. He was a rich man because he had a wonderful family, and he made a difference with his life. Let me show you my dad. If I can click, guys. That's me and my dad. And that's an interesting time in my life. I'm looking pretty goofy there. Notice how heavy my dad is in that picture because he was drinking very heavily then. And about a year after that picture, my dad was driving me to a baseball game. He pulled over on the side of the road. And he said, I want to tell you something. I'm going to try to get sober one more time. My dad had tried to quit drinking so many damn times. Tell us he was going to do it. He goes, I'm going to try to get sober one more time. In fact, I'm writing a book right now called The Power of One More. He said, I'm going to try to get sober one more time. I said, Daddy, Dad, what would the difference be this time? He said, your mother has told me I lose you and the family if I don't stop. You deserve the father I'm capable of being, so do your sisters, and your mom deserves a husband that she's worthy of. And I'm going to do it this time because I've got bigger reasons. You show me anybody who makes a major two at Mylett. I'm a pretty young man in that picture, aren't I? Let me just tell you something. That went by like this. Listen to me, young people. That went by like this. Papa never saw how successful I became. Papa has no idea what's come to my life. But my dad did. And little did I know that a little while after that, Dad would be gone, and I'm the last Edward. It went like this, just a flicker of time. It flies by. You got time right now to make your family proud of you. You got time to change your life. Get in a damn hurry. Quit waiting around. Start playing to win right now. Time is running out on you. I know what it's like to be the young, cool person in the room, and then I know what it's like to come out and say, you can call me daddy because I'm so damn old. It was like yesterday, okay? This is my dad and I. My favorite thing to do with my dad was take him golfing. That day, my dad was coughing on the golf course a lot. I said, hey, hurry up, hit the ball, get your shit together, I got somewhere to go. He goes, I don't know what's going on. We didn't know he had cancer. We didn't know he had a tumor in his chest the size of 2 footballs at that time. And then my dad started to get sick. That's about a year into chemo. That's me and my dad. Still sober. What I didn't know is every single day while my dad was in chemo, he was still messaging and helping people get sober. Helping one person at a time, loving one person at a time. Proton therapy, chemotherapy, lost his hair, lost his weight. You can see now, can't you? Still helping people, still making a difference. Time's running out on my dad. The nurse took that picture for me so I could see him that day. He's down to about 30 breaths a minute right there. I have to message my own dad. Sitting in that chair every day. The nurse and doctors would tell me, I don't know who he keeps taking his phone to, but he keeps talking to people. Something about going one more day sober. I said, well, my dad's program says one more day at a time. You stay sober for one more day. Don't quit the program for one more day. The next time you think about quitting this business, just don't quit for one more day. Okay? My dad called me the day after that picture and said, my dad's a dude, don't forget. My dad called me and said, my dad had my voice. In fact, if you called my dad's old mobile phone right now, you'd hear my deep voice. But now my dad's to about 15 breaths a minute. He's in the hospital. He hasn't seen my mom or my sisters or his grandchildren. And he says, I need you to come get me. I said, no, Dad, we're going to give you another steroid shot. Everything's going to turn around just like last time. Listen to me. I want to come home. No, Dad. Come get me. I'm going to be gone in 2 days. I want to come home. I want to be with you, Mom, and your sisters. I want this to happen in our house. I said, Dad, you're not going to die. You got this. Everything's going to be all right. I'll talk to your doctor. Doctor said I'd come get him. That night, the ambulance brought my dad to his house. I've never talked about this, but I want you to have it. That's my dad coming into his living room. That's the dude who 35 years before said, I'm going to try one more time to keep my family. Now that very family is gathered around him as he's taking his final breaths. I show you this personal picture because that's an hour before I lost my dad. I got to be there holding his hand when he passed away. Down to a couple breaths a minute. I was there when he left. I would not be sitting in that chair if he didn't try to get sober one more time. I would not have known him. That's the same man who wouldn't come home. That's my hero. 3 hours before that happened, stay with me. 3 hours before that happened, my dad helped one more person stay sober. One more person. His phone's ringing, and he can hear his phone ringing. He's got the oxygen. Debbie, that's my mom's. Debbie, who is it? I'm not answering, and I'm not giving you this phone. Who is it? It's Albert Munoz. Give me the phone. My dad knew what it was. Took the oxygen out. For the next 20 minutes, I watched my dad talk this man into going one more day sober. In my dad's last 3 hours, there's no cameras on him, there's no money attached to it, it's not on Instagram, no one would have known he was doing it, but who he was someone who helped other people with their lives. He loved people, cared about people, believed in people, and showed them how to live just a little bit better. That's what my dad did. How many of you have a mom or a dad that you love or that's gone? You better start winning for them. You know, it was great for my dad to know when he was passing away, whispered in his ear, Dad, I got everything. I know you do, son. To have a son there that could take care of everybody, that already had done it, that he could pass in peace, that he was proud of me. Right in this picture, he told me, I love you, I'm so proud of you, I have no idea why God gave you as my son. But I'm so grateful that you were my son. I'm so proud of you. You want that. And by the way, if they pass away, honor them and prove to them. This life thing kind of matters. It's cool we're here partying, jumping up and down. You need to have a damn blast, because that's part of life. But then there's the life part. Then there's the people you love. Then there's your dreams. Then there's you. Well, you were born to do something great. I opened up by telling you this. As I was helping my mom pack up my dad's affairs, I found hundreds of these cards. this room. 8, that's 75, by the way. 8-2-75, 8-14-79, 8-7, 8-6-2, Nana, Tom Pass, Ed, Terry. These are the people he helped get sober and their sobriety birthdays. And every day my dad, even in chemo, even being sick, would text and call them and say, "You got one more day. Make it one more time. You got one more." My dad did this every day. That was the August numbers. And I found these cards everywhere. One more. You gotta make one more phone call, one more contact, one more Instagram post, one more email. Call your team one more time. Right? The people that aren't here, message them, send them one more video. You gotta go for it one more time. You're gonna try one more time. You get to the gym, you go one more time. You start a diet one more time. You wanna know how powerful one more is? Take it away. Take away the one more. Let me ask you a question. What do you think I would give for one more round of golf with my dad? What would you give if you've got a relationship that's gone that you want back? What would you give for one more shot at that relationship? One more time. I tell my daughter I love her every day. I used to tell her one. I tell her one more time. I'm in the gym, I'm doing 10, I do 11, I do one more. 45 on the treadmill, we go one more. You start having the mantra of doing one more, you better get this book when it comes out, by the way. Right? That's why. You can never talk to her again. Your son, your mom, your dad. What would you say if you only had one more day with your daughter today? What would you say to your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend if you only had one more day with them? How would you treat them? How would you talk about them? What would matter? What would you argue about? What's a big deal? What's not a big deal? You think my dad was worried about whether he had a full tank of gas in his car the last few breaths of his life? You think he was worried about any of that stuff? My dad was worried about his family, the main characters of his life, just like you should be focused on. Here's the good news. You do have one more shot. You do have one more day. You do have one more chance. You need to make the most of it, because it's gone someday. That time is gone. Max is gone. I don't have my boy in my house anymore. I can't walk in there and say, "I love you, man, give me a hug." He's gone. That time of my life is over. My daughter leaves next year. These children you have at home, it goes like this. It's precious. You're precious. You and them were born to do something great with your life. I started out today. You can clap. That's good. Shot. One more moment in your life. Stay in this business one more day. Listen to me. Last thing I'm going to tell you. My dad, at the end of his life, there's a movie of my dad's life. I can see it. I can see when I was born. I see the picture of my dad when he was a young man, when he was a little boy. I remember when his keys would hit the front door. If it jingled too long, he was drinking. If it went in there pretty good, it was sober dad. I remember the mad face, the happy face. I remember his first sobriety birthday. I remember all of it. I remember my wedding. I remember the birth of my kids. I remember all of it. It's a story of my dad's life. At the end of his life, you know what mattered? The main characters. Me, my sisters, his grandchildren, his dreams, the people he helped, the memories he had, the difference he made, the contribution, the growth. That's what matters in life. That's what matters for you. Too many of you, listen to me, sister, you worry about the extras of your movie. They're background noise. You give them all the power in your life. You give them all the power. You worry about what they think, what they say, what they comment, when they quit. You don't just quit your team this week. An extra. I thought it was a human. They ain't the main character. They ain't the main character. Quit worrying about them. The person's giving you hate, is talking bad on you. You gotta get focused on the main characters. The main characters are your dreams, the places you go, the moments you have. I'll tell you this last story. My daughter, when I turned 49, we went to a dinner, and my daughter said, "Daddy,